My most humble pranams at the lotus feet of our Bhagavan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba, Sai Ram to all. Our intermediate exams were over, and a few of us girls were staying behind in Prashanthi Nilayam. I did not go home to Kerala. So Swami had given us, we were just three of us, a room in West Prashanthi 1, the top floor corner room on the second floor. We stayed there, we cooked our food or ate in the canteen. And my sister from Kerala, Jaya, also came to stay with me because she had also finished her exams and she was free. So we stayed there, had beautiful darshans, and participated in everything. We had a great time, enjoying Swami's darshans and bhajans. We were waiting for our exams, and once the results were out, one evening Swami came near us and he said, "Tomorrow morning I will call you for interview. You ask Dr. Subhamma also to be present." This Dr. Subhamma was our warden. I already told you about her. She had her own room in South Prashanthi. So we informed her, and the next day we were all excited and ready for our interview. In those days, it was not strict like now. There were not these many sevadals and all that. So when we are called for interview, normally we could take a few things. We would take garlands and tender coconut water for Swami and photos for Swami to sign. All this were allowed in those days. When Swami came out in the morning, he called us girls and Dr. Subhamma, who was sitting beside us for interview. And then he turned and saw my sister and called her too. Because being alone, she would not get a chance to be in an interview. So she was also called in with our group. We went inside the interview room, and there were also a few other people picked for the interview. Swami spoke to us in groups, and when he called us inside, four of us and my sister, Swami started to speak to us. The results had come, and Swami was asking what each one was planning to do and all that. And then I had a garland for Swami. So in that outer room itself, when I gave it, he put it around his neck, and then he took it out and cut it into two and gave me one half, and he told me, "You get married." And the other half he gave to a lady from Orissa who had been a Sai devotee for many years. She had been married for more than 20 years and she did not have any children. Swami said, "Tumko beta hoga," he said, and gave it to her. And actually, when I met her a year or so later, she had come with her son for Swami's blessings. Look at the power of Swami's word. And anyway, then in the interview room, he turned to me and he said, "What is this hysteria? Whenever I come out, it is Swami, Swami, Swami. Everybody is watching. You are a girl, you must behave with modesty." And then Swami said, "First discipline, then duty, and then only devotion. I know that you love me, and Swami loves you too, but devotion should be in the heart, not for everybody to see." And he said, "From tomorrow onwards, I'm not going to talk to you outside." You know what was happening every time Swami came for darshan, and if I was in the front, I would always have a letter for Swami. I think this is a normal procedure with all students, boys and girls. And many times I would do silly things, like I would fold the letter so small that when Swami came near and I would extend it for him to take it, he would have to brush my fingers when he pulled out the letter. And then I would write poems for Swami, all the things that normal students do. No, we always have chances to write whatever was in our head and heart. And Swami loved to take letters from the students. He would very often say something, comment, and that is why this was a very regular routine that we would try to catch Swami's attention by offering him a letter. And then I would tell Swami everything that came into my mind. It didn't matter to me that anybody was watching. And Swami indulged me in those 2 years that I was his student in Anandapur. So when he said that he was not going to talk to me, I was sort of flabbergasted. I didn't know what would I do if Swami didn't speak to me. And then Swami said other things, and the interview was over, and we came out. Actually, for a little while, I did not believe that Swami would not speak to me. He would be so strict, that he would keep his promise that he would not speak to me outside. And in that time, he told me, go inside, go inside, meditate. You will find me in your heart. And I did not know this meditation business. I did not know how Swami would speak inside. I did not know any of these things. So after this interview, even though I tried many times for, Swami would not speak to me. If I tried to get up and say something, Swami would just gesture with his hand to sit down, like that. So this went on for some time, and I was very sad that Swami was ignoring me. He would look at me, but he would not speak even one word. So this went on for some time, and in the next 5 years, the only time that Swami spoke to me was my grandmother passed away in Kerala, and I got the telegram, and I was sitting in darshan, and I was very upset. I was very attached to my grandmother, and when Swami came near me, the tears just flowed. And then Swami looked at me and he said, "Enduku now, why are you crying?" Then I said, "Swami, my grandmother passed away." Then he said, "Don't cry, you should be happy. She has come to Swami, isn't it? Be happy," he said. So this was one time that he spoke to me in the next 5 years. Then the other time was when the results had come, and then Swami came near us students, and he looked at me and he asked me, "First class?" And I said, "Yes, Swami." Then he said, "Namaskar Chesko, do Pad Namaskar." So he gave me Pad Namaskar. This was it for the next 5 years. And then, see, after my intermediate exams, my father got ill and my mother wanted me to come home. So I told Swami, and I went back to Kerala, and I joined Vimla College in my hometown. So in that next 5 years, we could not even come to see Swami. I had no chance to get an interview or be near Swami. And this continued for a long time. And before I forget, when we were staying in that small room on the top floor of West Prashanti 1, in the nights, we would sit there. In those days, the old devotees would know that many people slept on the sands in front of the mandir. There were no flooring done at that time. And 9 o'clock was lights off. The ashram would be very silent, no sound anywhere. And in those days, the last person to leave Swami's room would be Mr. Rajareddy, who was taking care of Swami. He did all the personal duties for Swami. So when we sat in front of our room on the veranda, from that height we could see into Swami's first floor bedroom. Many times before darshan, we would see Swami stand near a mirror and brush his hair before coming down for darshan. And in the night, once the lights were off, there would be a very small dim light in Swami's room, but we could see Swami come and stand near the window, and Swami would stand there for a long time looking out, and then of course he would not be visible anymore to our eyes. And at this time there was a shed for the elephant Sai Gita to the left of the mandir. So she had her shed there. She would be in the shed in the daytime, and in the night, in front of that shed was this line of eucalyptus trees where she would be tied up in the night. So we would be sitting there watching whatever was going on there, and Sai Gita would be standing up. And only when Swami lay down, we would notice that Sai Gita would also get on her knees and lie down. Until that time, she would be standing on her feet. And the moment Swami was up in the morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock, Sai Gita would also be standing up. So we noticed this routine from our vintage position, and many times during the nights we would see this huge balls of shining light enter Swami's room. Many nights we have seen this phenomena, and I did not know what it was for a long time. Then later on, I heard that these were celestial beings, divine beings, rulers of many universes that would come to visit Swami. So this was one very rare sight that we witnessed in that time when we stayed in Prashanthi Nilayam. Please like, share my videos with